Good evening to one and all present over here. I am Sarika Purohit, a student at Indore Institute of Science and Technology, and I will be host for your today's session. The question arises in mind, what is Leave the Code? Let me clear you. Leave the Code is a week-long running hackathon that is going on. We call hackers, coders, designers, tech evangelists, creatives and developers from all disciplines to take a part to win some prizes and collaborate with other developers. Throughout the weekend, Hackathon at the Leave the Code will have unique opportunities to learn from each other, trying hands in new technologies. We are determined to have an all inclusive and diverse group of students attending. And today we have Uchi sir for Coil API session, that is application programming interface. Sir is software engineer, founder and director of developer relations, and Sir had completed their study from Stanford University. I would like to call Sir to further continue. Please, Uchi sir.
Thank you so much, Sarika, for that amazing introduction. I'm really excited to be with all of you here at Leave the Code. And I really like what all of you participants are doing with building solutions that show that you can actually leave the code, right? Using technology and all of your experiences to build solutions that are useful for people around the world. So I'm super excited to get started with really introducing you to Coil API and web monetization. And the title of the session today is Hack and Earn with Web Monetization. So I'm going to share my screen. And so for today's session, we're really going to be talking about how you can build a hackathon project that makes you also earn at the same time. So let's get started. When you see this line of code, what do you think about? Like, does this line of code look familiar to you? I know some of you might be thinking that it's a HTML meta tag, and definitely you're correct, right? But it's more than that. What if I told you that this line of code, adding this single line of code on your web app would enable you to start earning in real time? So just think about that. Imagine that you add a single line of code, and you as a developer, when someone like me views your site, I'm going to be paying you in real time. And also, you can even enable users of your site to earn money at the same time, right? So if they upload an image, or if they add a picture, or if they upload a blog post, they can earn in real time also. So the purpose of this session is to see some example use cases of how web monetization can be used to empower your users to earn uh, from your platform that you're building as part of this hackathon. And we're going to also talk about the Coil API prize. So, but before we do that, let's look at our online self, right? So all of us probably have profiles online. We have social media profiles. We have blog posts. We have portfolios online. We have a developer website, or we have our work on Behance or stuff like that if we're designers, right? But in all of those projects, most of us are not really earning money for that, right? We spend a lot of time working on all of these projects, but yet we don't get to earn from all of the hard work that we're doing, right? And when we compare the current status quo with the future, we see that currently the way monetization works online is exclusionary. So that means that if I want to start earning from YouTube, let's say I post videos on YouTube, for example, if I post videos on like some video platforms, for example, I have to wait for like to get up to 1,000 subscribers to start earning. And also it's driven by ads, and monetization is delayed. But look at the other way, like what we want actually is something that is transparent, it's open, and is driven by the value we provide. So imagine that you are a developer or a designer or a product manager or a student, right? And you've come up with some really good tutorials. You post them out there, and people like those tutorials. You should be getting paid for the work that you've done, right? And also, you should be able to receive payment in real time. And also, it shouldn't matter where you're based. You could be based in India, in Canada, or in the US. You should be able to earn some money instantly when you add value online. So this is not just like a fairy tale. It's already something that is happening today. with a concept called web monetization. So if you're not familiar with web monetization enables web apps and websites everywhere to earn in real time. And how it works is that as a content creator, you add the single line of code called a payment pointer to your website or your web app. And then when someone views your content, their browser will be sending payments from the browser itself to your payment pointer. Think about it like an email, right? All of us have emails, right? Someone can send us images to those emails. They can send us videos to those emails. They can send us tests to those images. So it doesn't matter what kind of message is being sent to us. All we're receiving in an email address is a data packet. Similarly, with web monetization, it doesn't matter what currency you want to accept. You can accept USD, you can accept cryptocurrencies and things like that. We're going to see how all of this works in a bit. And I'm really excited to really get all of you web monetized. So get your platform web monetized and also like get you some free Coil credits to actually try out web monetization, potentially with fellow hackers and also like fellow students and friends and families, and try to like see how you can use web monetization to support their content. And to get started, you need just three things. The first thing that you need is a wallet. And the second thing is a payment pointer. And the last thing is the single line of code I shared before. So with this wallet, it could be from any Interledger supported wallet. And currently, there are two platforms you can get the payment pointer from, Uphold and GitHub. So once you sign on to these platforms, you would get an Interledger payment pointer, just like this. I'm going to scroll back. So your payment pointer will look like this. You will see like a real payment pointer in a bit when I do the demo. But you get the payment pointer. Once you've gotten the payment pointer, you then add it to the header of your website or to the head of your website, right? And then when someone starts viewing your content, they'll start paying you in real time. To learn more about how all of this works, definitely the real place to check out is developers.coil.com. So on developers.coil.com, you would see like example tutorials, you will see some already web monetized sites and things like that. Okay, so I know you might be wondering, yeah, this is good. It's possible that I'm going to earn online, but who is web monetized? Like, are there existing platforms that have web monetization set up already? Are there existing platforms that are really huge that are earning from web monetization? And the answer is yes. I know some of you are familiar with freecodecamp.org. So freecodecamp is actually web monetized. Hackathon is web monetized. Default is web monetized. And I know almost all of us listening are familiar with dev.to, right? So dev.to is web monetized also. And if you're a developer or a designer, if you post a blog post on dev.to and you add your payment pointer to your profile, you would earn when someone views your content. So as at the end of this hackathon, we would like to be able to build something like dev.to so that users of the project that we build will be able to also earn similarly to the way that any developer or any designer or project manager can earn when they post on dev.to. And then finally, Creative Commons, Enclave Games, and many, many more are web monetized. So if you want to see additional projects that are web monetized, you should check out who is web monetized on the developers.coil.com page. Or if you just Google it, who is web monetized, you're going to see so many examples of platforms and websites and apps that are web monetized. So I'm looking forward to like you exploring that and learning more about like this amazing world of web monetization. Okay, so we're gonna do a live demo after this. But before we go to the live demo, I'm just gonna finish all of this. So I know that you might be wondering, so we've learned about web monetization. We know that we need a wallet, we need a payment pointer, and then we need to add a payment pointer to our website, right? So three things. And we've also seen some existing sites that are web monetized, Hackathon, Dev.to, and all those other websites, right? I know you might be wondering, what can I build as part of my hackathon project? Or how can I add web monetization to my hackathon project, right? So I'm going to give you a couple of examples of things that you can do. So one of the things that you can do is that you can unlock new features in your web app for web monetized users. And what you do, how you do that is that the web when web monetization is enabled, a JavaScript event is fired. So you can basically check that JavaScript event, and if it's streaming payments, then you unlock new features. So think of an example of Code Sandbox. If you use Code Sandbox, the online code editor, or like some online game, right? If someone has web monetization, then they unlock like new features for them. It could be that they want the users to have like more customization options because they are paying the site, right? And then the second option is gamifying your web app, and also activating additional perks and benefits when web monetization is enabled. So imagine that we're watching this live stream on StreamYard or on a different platform, right? And a web monetized user starts watching, right? Because they're well monetized, I could show some fancy animation or show them some cute cat videos or some cute, funny additional perks on the game or on the site, just to kind of add some additional fun for them because they're paying for this content. And then one other one I'm really excited about is enabling multiple contributors to earn from your project, right? Just like I mentioned before, on dev.to, if you post a content on dev.to and you have a payment pointer enabled, you are going to be earning in real time. And you can do the same thing too for your platform. So imagine that you're building a photo sharing platform that anyone can upload pictures there and others can view it. Or you're building something like TikTok, right? So on TikTok, anyone can post videos, anyone can post videos and things like that, short videos, right? But imagine that TikTok has a web monetization enabled. When you're watching someone's TikTok, that user is getting paid via web monetization. And I think that's something that we can do at this hackathon, right? So it could be that we want users to share pictures, videos, blog posts, or stuff like that. And then as part of the user profile, you have a new field that says payment pointer as part of their profile. And then they have the option to set a payment pointer on their profile, right? And when someone is viewing their video or their picture or reading their blog post, all you need to do as a developer is to replace the payment pointer in the head of the website or the web app to the payment pointer of the user whose video is being viewed. And that way they're getting paid in real time, right? And then something else that you should also look into is web monetized IPFS viewer. If you're not familiar with IPFS, it's fine, it's okay. It's something new, so you don't have to be familiar with it. But imagine like a web monetized photo viewer, web monetized image viewer, or things like that. And then the last option of things that you can build, you can look into Puma browser. If you don't have Puma browser installed, definitely you want to check it out. Puma browser is the first web monetization browser out there, and it allows you to view web monetized content. It allows you to also like support content creators if you have web monetization enabled. So maybe as part of this hackathon, you can look into how you can build a mobile experience that opens up on Puma browser and then rewards users for being for supporting with web monetization. And actually, Puma browser, the company, they are hiring. So if you're interested in working on the mobile browser, or you're interested in like experimenting with the feature of privacy and also web monetization, you should definitely check out Puma browser, download it, and also check out like the website for opportunities that they currently have right now. So the next step is the next step as part of this hackathon is that you want to create a web monetized project. I'm going to show you a coding demo in a bit, but you want to create a project that uses web monetization. And then on demo day, you demo your project. And then after demo day, you would have the option or the opportunity to apply for a grant, right? So this grant is open to everyone. You don't have to be part of this hackathon to apply for the grant, right? So the next call for application, I believe, is going to be in the next few months, and you can apply for between $1,000 to, I believe, $100,000 of grants to work on your web monetization or IntelliJ project. Definitely, you should check it out if it's something that interests you, especially if after this hackathon you build something that is amazing, that uses web monetization or that uses IntelliJ. then you should definitely start looking at how can I improve my hackathon projects to be able to get a grant in the next funding round, which should be in the next few months. And then finally, where Coil is leading the development of a new open source tool called Rafiki. So Rafiki is really going to unlock additional features for web monetization and intelligence. So if you're interested in open source, you want to learn, you want to contribute, definitely check out the Rafiki project. So enough of talking. Let's now jump to like a demo, right? So for this demo, I'm going to actually try to like show you some example ways of using web monetization. I will stop sharing my screen and then I will share the entire, I'm going to actually share the entire window. Just a moment. And I'm going to be switching screens a lot. Okay, so I'm going to jump to VS Code, right? And what I want to do is we are building a site, right? And this site is a very, very simple site. So I'll go to the, okay, so this is demo that we're opening. I'm going to show you the code in a bit. But first, let's see how it works. And don't worry about all of these commands if you don't understand what's going on. It's fine, right? You don't have to like do the same stuff that I'm doing. But what I'm doing is I'm just using Next.js to build like an app. You can use normal JavaScript for this. But let's see how this looks. So this is a site, and how the site works is that you have a couple of blog posts from users, right? These are users of your platform, of your web app, right? They've posted blog posts to your site, and here's a list of all of the blog posts. And when you click on this one on any of the blog posts, it shows the details, right? So this doesn't have to be a blog post. It could be an image, it could be a video, just like the TikTok example I gave. And what you want to do as a developer is to try to make it possible for users of this your website to earn money when someone views their post, right? So let's see how to do that. The first thing we want to do is that we actually, as the developer of the site, we also want to earn money, right? So when someone is on the landing page, or if someone is just like viewing this site on the landing page, right? We also want to like get paid, right? Because at this point, we're not really viewing any specific post. We're just viewing like the platform. So as a developer, I would like to earn some money at this stage. So let's add a payment pointer and see how that works. So I have a note here and I already have some things I implemented. And I want to add a web monetization meta tag, right? And all I'm doing is I'm copying that code and I'm going to paste it there, right? And all this is doing is just adding a new HTML meta element called monetization to the head of the website, right? Because this is Nest, it looks a bit complicated, right? But it's actually not complicated. Well, let's save it and then see how it looks on the site, right? So notice that something has happened. If I click on this tab here, if I click on that, the Coil extension, it tells you that thank you for your support. I'm paying this website, right? So as the viewer of this site, any developer that views this site will be sending money to this payment pointer, and this payment pointer is actually from Uphold, right? So you can sign up for Uphold and get a payment pointer today. And if I disable that, if I kind of go back and disable all of this, right, and save this, you notice that, and I refresh that, you notice that it says this site is not supported yet, right? And that's because I've not enabled web monetization, right? And I'm going to go back and then save that, and it tells me that this site is paying. So I'll refresh the page again. So it says, thank you for your support. It's paying. All right. So I'm sending payments. I'm streaming payment to the developer of this site. So next thing we want to do is that we don't want to like earn all the money, right? We also want to allow users to earn money. So what we're going to do is first, let's open the terminal and just kind of look at try to find the web monetization meta tag. So I'm going to search for monetization, and then notice that all those line of code is doing is just adding a payment pointer. Let me just refresh that. Do a hard refresh. So all that is doing is adding a payment pointer, right? So this line of code, all it's doing is just adding this payment pointer there. And if you're using vanilla JS, like plain JavaScript and HTML for your project, you can just copy like a single line of code like this and add it to your project, and you have web monetization enabled, right? But for this use case, we're doing something like more complicated. So when I open this page, right, like I mentioned, we want this user to start earning. So let's look at the database structure, right? This is just like plain JavaScript, plain JS object. Right? But imagine that this was coming from a JavaScript, right? We have the title, the ID of the post, we have the title of the post, we have the body, and then we have the payment pointer, right, of the user that posted this. So what we want to do is that when we're on this page, we replace this platform payment pointer with this payment pointer. And without kind of going into too much details, all we're going to do is just do that. I already implemented some functions that does that. So this function basically checks if an existing payment pointer exists. If it exists, then it replaces it. If it doesn't, then it adds a new one. It adds the actual like payment pointer. So if I refresh that, notice that I changed it, right? So the payment pointer has changed to the payment pointer of the developer or the writer of this blog post, right? So this is what we want to do. Or this is just like one use case. There are lots of things that we can do with web monetization. And if I switch my tab there and kind of go to the documentation, this is if you go to webmonetization.org, you find out the documentation, right? So like I mentioned before, first thing is that you want to add a meta tag, and then this is how it's going to look. But there are a couple of examples of things that you can do, right? You can show exclusive content to users that are web monetized. You can remove ads for users that are web monetized. You can even like show like a counter. Like, so imagine that on your page, you want to say that $5 has been sent to this site, $2 has been sent, 0.5 has been sent. You can actually build that with this example code, right? To show the user of the site that they are supporting the website that they are looking at. And then there's also like revenue sharing, which is the example that we looked at, right? There's a better way to do it, right? So you can use this example to actually share revenue between multiple users. And then you can stop monetization. And you can also like add an event listener, like I mentioned before, right? If monetization is enabled, you can like use it to show additional features. And then there's also a receive verifier feature, which I don't think you need for this hackathon, right? So I mean, there's lots of things that we can do with web monetization, and I'm really excited to see what you all build as part of this hackathon. And I'm going to switch back to the slides, and then we can just conclude the demo. So just one moment. So switching back to the slide, we talked about kind of the next step, right? Which is creating a well monetized project, demoing that project as part of your hackathon demo day. And then after that, you can look for ways or start preparing to apply for grant for the web. You can get up to between $1,000 and $800,000 depending on the kind of project you're working on. I think that if you're listening to this right now, then you have the ability to get this grant, right? You have all it takes to get this grant. You have kind of a head start compared to like other people that are not part of this hackathon. And that's kind of why Leave the Code is super important, to be engaged at Leave the Code, to be here hacking and building stuff with other hackers, right? So you already kind of have a head start. You already are in the right place, right? So kind of start preparing yourself to apply for this grant for the web. Okay, so the prize for best web monetization project that Coil is sponsoring would go to the best project that uses web monetization, right? So, I mean, we're gonna send the power bank to all the winners, all members of the winning team, and also like a winner pin. I don't have it here, but we're gonna send that to all of the members of the winning team, and then we'll announce it also in the community. So you check out the community, the webmonetization.org. We post a lot of things there. And again, how can you get started? What's the process to get started after this talk? So after this talk, what I would like everyone to do is to go to coil.com.redeem. Go there and you would have the option to add a code that you can redeem. So if you don't already have the code, speak to the leave the code organizers. They're going to give you a Coil credit that will be valid for 6 months. So each month of Coil membership is worth $5, but everyone in this hackathon will be able to get this for free for 6 months. So go to coil.com/redeem, then ask the organizing team to get the Coil credits that you can use to redeem your 6 months of Coil membership. And then you set up your wallet. So this wallet is via Uphold or GitHub. So set up an account, right? And then you add the payment pointer to your project, and then you profit, right? You can make your users to earn. You can also earn. All of this is available on developers.coil.com. So we have the guides there. We have all of the information there. And for any reason, if you are not able to get a payment pointer on time, right? So if it takes you time to get approved for a wallet, what you could do to kind of get started with this hackathon is to go to community.webmonetization.org. You are going to see some non-profit payment pointer that you can use for your hackathon project, right? So I'm actually going to show you that. So if I go non-profit payment pointer, you notice that we have a free code cam, their payment pointer there, right? We have Creative Commons, we have the Teacher Fund, Web Foundation, right? So while you are waiting to get approval for your payment pointer, just so things are not slow, you can go to that community.webmonetization.org, get one of those test payment pointers and use it to build your hack, right? And once you've done that, maybe after the hackathon or once your account gets approved by Uphold or the other payment platform, you can then replace the non-profit payment pointer with your own payment pointer so you can start earning. So don't waste too much time trying to like set up your wallet, right? Focus on building your use case, and then you can always replace the payment pointer later. But I'm really excited to see all of you like redeem those Coil credits, and we're really excited to like get you started with web monetization. I know you might be asking, what else? Where can I see ask more information? Right. So developers.coil.com, webmonetization.org, and there's a repo called Awesome Web Monetization. So check that out. There are lots of examples of web monetized projects, and definitely you should follow Coil on Twitter, and also hopefully we're going to be on Discord to answer any questions, or you can email devs at coil.com. Yeah, so you can email devs@coil.com with questions. So that's all for today. It's been amazing connecting with all of you as you leave the code, as you build amazing projects. And we're looking forward to seeing all of your web monetized hacks. I can't wait to see them. And also like potentially having most of you apply for grant for the web next year. Thanks again. I'm going to now pass it on to Sarika. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today. And definitely, the words and the experience you have shared with us will bring back us the new things, and your skills will be helpful for us in future. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us and for accepting the request to mentor the session today. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.